and let me read parts of this contract that really doesn't add up for me, and probably you will be the judges of how ignorance is eating us alive and how smart conmen, if I'm not wrong, can be. The fee of $13,500 under paragraph B is due and payable immediately by client in one lump sum. So guys, I've been slapped with a $13,500 bill. Yes, why? Due to my ignorance and probably from somebody I trusted and believed when I was starting this process of becoming a USRN. The reason why I'm doing this video is some of the nurses are probably in a similar situation or will be in a similar situation as mine. We want to avoid that as much as possible. You are struggling with the whole process. You're putting your financial resources as much as you can to realize this dream. And at the end, you're going to work for an agency for 2 or 3 years. You don't want to be in a situation where you're working for an agency for probably 2 or 3 years and somebody from nowhere knocks at your door or knocks at your email or at your phone with a bill of $13,500. Another purpose of this video is just to prevent or to help you not to find yourself in a similar situation as me, of owing or being demanded a bill of $13,500. So guys, watch this video till the end to know the backstory, where we started and how it all started and why we are here today. So if you like this content, guys, please don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to tell a friend, don't forget to share, don't forget to comment, because we create videos on nursing or on nurses trying to migrate or go through the process of becoming foreign educated nurses in the United States of America. We will be talking about health, fitness and exercise, and finally we are creating content on upcoming and growing YouTubers. So let's get to the video. I started this journey of becoming a USRN in 2017. I heard about it in 2016 actually, but I started the journey in 2017. I want to be very specific. This is back in 2017. I started this journey through an agent, and he came to Kenya and he taught us through the process and he promised us all the gold and the shiny silver. We trusted him. Personally, I trusted him and I can't blame myself for trusting him. We are always looking for better opportunities, and if somebody tells you about how better opportunity is somewhere else, you want to grab it with your hand. So this person, so we are going to call him John, not his real name, came in and talked to us, of course, and he sent a contract. And trust me, ignorance is a disease. Probably I read through the contract, but due to the promises and the trust I had in him, I went ahead and signed the contract. Part of the contract really stated that we are going to pay everything for ourselves. We paid everything for ourselves, and Mr. John was really helpful in receiving the money and doing transaction on my behalf. So if I wanted to go through the CGFNS process, he could apply the CGFNS and he could make the payment. Me was to send my documents to the CGFNS. We bought our reading materials, and I remember very well, I spent $200 or 20,000 Kenyan shillings for my reading materials. In a total, roughly, I sent around $1,500 to $1,800 US dollars to Mr. John to do these transactions on my behalf. Guys, this brings me to my first point. In this modern day and time, you can do these things by yourself. I sent my money to Mr. John, and what he did is to do transaction on my behalf, such as paying for my hotel bills when I went for my exam in India, such as booking for my exam, NCLEX exam through Pearson VU, such as doing a credential evaluation. I could have done this by myself. If only I could have gone to a website or gone through a YouTube channel like this one, learned this and did it by myself. Guys, you don't need this middleman or middle person to do this on your behalf. There's a lot of information and a lot of data outside here that can help you do these things by yourself. After I did this, I passed NCLEX. So we did all this, all was rosy and smooth, and we were done, and I went to India and I did my exam by May of 2017. Once I was done, of course, my next expectation was the filing and the immigration process or the work permit process. So apparently by then, I want to believe that Mr. John was not in a position to do filing on our behalf. So he had to seek help from another agency, which again, I could have done by myself. So he referred me to another agency. This agency was supposed to take up all the process for Mr. John. And trust me when I tell you, Mr. John was so smart that he sent an additional contract that still ties me to him, and at the same time, I have a contract with that agency that ties me to them. At this time that I'm signing all these contracts, I don't realize that I'll be tied to two people or two institutions, Mr. John and the agency. Guys, this is something that can't be avoided. This is something that if I went through the agency by myself, I'll be tied to the agency on itself or by itself. If you're liking this content, if you're liking this video, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to share, and don't forget to comment so that we can reach as many people as possible and share this information out. Let's get back to the video. So once I was tied to the agency and Mr. John, of course, I expected the agency to file, which they did. And unfortunately, my case was denied, which they don't have control over, of course. That is a decision made by USRN. So I reached out and asked them, why was my case denied? When are you guys filing for me? No word from them, or no reassuring, or no time frame was given in all this situation. To cut the long story short, I ended up leaving the agency. I wrote to Mr. John to ask him, if I'm trying to leave this agency and leave you, what are going to be the terms, or how much am I going to pay? Not knowing I have a contract with me that I could have just referenced. So I'm going to read the contract out for you guys, and we're going to share some parts of it, and the reason why I'm telling you guys to be vigilant when you're signing your contract. I ended up seeking and help of another agency, which I'm currently working with and serving my contract. Then boom, I get a call from a debt collector that I have a bill to pay of $13,500. Of course, I never pick strange calls, so they left a voicemail for me and later followed it by an email, which is so important and which I'm going to emphasize on, guys. When you're getting into contracts and when you're getting to these serious issues, always make sure you have email communication and detail them as much as possible, because word of mouth cannot be used as a reference in any situation. It is word of mouth, that's it. So I went ahead and these people sent me an email in every situation, and I have emails to back up my claims. And let me read parts of this contract that really doesn't add up for me, and probably you will be the judges of how ignorance is eating us alive and how smart conmen, if I'm not wrong, can be, and how people that we trust can really be smart and can turn to be conmen. So watch this, watch the level of my ignorance. This is what the contract part says that doesn't make sense to me when I was reading or I was going through it. It states, and I quote, if client abandons, client here is me, withdraws from or in any way terminates Mr. John representation after passing NCLEX, the fee of $13,500 under paragraph B is due and payable immediately by client in one lump sum. Guys, does that make sense? Like, technically that does make sense. The only this person has done for you is to transact money on your behalf. This person has only You've sent him money, he's paid for you these things with your own money. In what sense do you want to pay $13,500 for only that services? If you withdraw after passing NCLEX, you pay the fee of $13,500. Really? So this is why I'm so passionate about reading your contracts. Please read them, scan them, be meticulous. Go through your contracts. If you don't understand anything, ask this person through the mail, what does this mean in your own terms? Because your interpretation might not be your contractor's interpretation. Another part that never made sense to me is this, and I quote, should the client not fulfill its obligation under its employment contract with the referred agency, which the name is there, I won't say, probably for any reason such as termination of employment or voluntary departure from employment, that is by quitting with or without cause, the client, which is me, agrees still to pay Mr. John $13,500. That one means, guys, I withdrew from my agency because the agency that Mr. John referred me to, because they were not working with the promised timelines, they were not being upfront with me, and I withdrew. That simply means no matter what, even if these people, I paid them because I cleared with them and I have a release letter that they gave me, I'm still obligated to Mr. John. And I'm still paying Mr. John $13,500. And I want to believe, I'm not sure, that if you refer a nurse to any other agency, you were paid. And I want to believe Mr. John was paid for referring me to that agency. So guys, please read your contract and be mindful and careful as much as possible. So one last part I want to share with you. Here is the part of email that I was sent that I owe Mr. John. And I quote, in this letter is to inform you that QXM agency, not their real name or institution, has been retained to recover a debt owed by you to our client, Mr. John, in amount of $13,500. Yes, $13,500. This is a person, I've been in the United States for the past 2 years, has never reached out, has never written an email despite my frantic calls previously on what is the way forward towards my case being denied. Wakes up in the morning and feel that I owe him $13,500. Be the judge. Stupidity or ignorance is very expensive. So guys, that is the end of the story, how I am being slapped by a bill of $13,500. I have created video and one of them is basic requirements on starting your journey as a USRN. I'll leave a link up here. Please do click and watch it till the end. Please don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, bye-bye.